Marianne Young. I'm the Senior Account Director who works closely with the team at the County of San Diego. I've been a part of the account since 2020 when we first started working on developing our partnership together. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the new benefits that we're offering, new because it's with a new carrier here at Lincoln, but it's not a new benefit for employees at the County of San Diego. So I think it might be a little bit familiar. Some of you may be a little bit familiar with the product and some of the options with the plan, and I'm excited to discuss it with you today. We are going to be talking about a voluntary benefit. So it is available to you at an affordable group rate. I think most insurance benefits are typically less expensive at a group rate as opposed to an individual rate if you were to go seek out pricing on the individual market. So we're glad to see that. And your insurance premiums and benefit premiums are actually paid through payroll deductions twice monthly. So that's something that makes it just a bit more convenient when it comes to electing your benefits and insurance through your employer. So today I'm going to be talking about critical illness. So again, this is new with Lincoln Financial starting in 2024. It is a benefit that's available to County of San Diego employees and also can be extended to spouses, domestic partners, and dependent children. So first, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail around what critical illness insurance covers and how it can be used. So really the benefit is available for and is an insurance for employees and their dependents in the event that there is a critical illness or event, and it is a cash benefit. So it's paid out to help pay for various expenses. That could be health insurance deductibles or copays, childcare, regular living expenses, such as rent or utilities, groceries, things like this. And it is a benefit that's paid in addition to what your health insurance covers. So it's not to replace your health insurance, but is a supplemental benefit to your health insurance. So let's talk a little bit about what type of illnesses, critical illnesses, are covered for this insurance. So what you see here are some of the different types of events or benefits that are covered, and that includes heart attack, stroke, cancer. So those are typically the most frequently types of events that occur for this benefit to kick in, but it will also cover additional events such as major organ failure, renal failure. There is a benefit for skin cancers, but it also covers like Alzheimer's and other conditions such as that. So those benefits there are listed, and it does show like 100% is what would be paid, for example, for a brain tumor, or 100% benefit paid for major organ failure or renal failure, 100% for invasive cancer. But then you'll also see smaller percentages that are paid out. So 25% of your election amount or 30% of your election amount in the event of those types of events. We also have recovery assistance, occupational diseases, and some accidental injuries that are covered by the critical illness benefit. And to just give a little bit more detail about those, I'll speak first to the recovery assistance. So in the event that you have recovery assistance or have benefits that are paid out through the critical illness, there's also an additional benefit that's paid for recovery assistance. And what that includes is family care benefits. So in the event that you need like additional daycare or care for a dependent while you are going through this issue, that's payable. Also lodging, in the event that you need to be in a hospital and you need family to come be near you, we have additional benefit that pays out for that, and transportation. So those additional benefits help cover what we call recovery assistance. And then for occupational diseases, this includes any diseases so that may be related to um, your job, where perhaps you contracted the disease while working. Those could be like rabies, tetanus, tuberculosis, invasive MRSA infection. So each of those would pay at 25% for any of those occupational diseases. And then although we're not, the critical illness does not cover most accidents, there are some accidental injuries that would be covered and paid at 100%. And those injuries maybe result in severe burns, or those accidents, excuse me, result in severe burns, maybe permanent paralysis, or a traumatic brain injury or coma. Each of those would also pay at a benefit of 100% of your election amount. So to talk a little bit about what your benefit options are, employees have 4 different election amounts for their own coverage, and that could be 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, or 40,000. So when I say a benefit pays at 100% and you elect 20,000, then your benefit will pay at 20,000 for any of those 100% events. However, if it's a 25% event, then your benefit would only pay 4,000, even if you elected the $20,000 amount, because it's only paying 25%. So these are the employee options listed here in the left column. And then for your spouse or partner, you could also elect coverage for that person. And they have the options of 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, or 20,000. However, you cannot elect more than 50% for your spouse or partner than what you have for yourself. So as an example, if you are an employee who elects $40,000 benefit, you would have the option to elect any of these 4 options, 5, 10, 15, or 20. But if you are an employee electing $20,000 in benefit, you could only elect either 5,000 or 10,000 for your spouse/partner. And then your child or children, should you elect coverage for them, would also be covered at 50% of your election amount. Here's an example of how this coverage can work in the event that you have subsequent events that happen that are under the same category. So for example, this is Sam. Sam enrolled for $10,000 of coverage in January of 2024. And then on May 15th, Sam has a heart attack and receives this $10,000 of benefit. For the following 12 months, Sam seems to be doing well. There's no recurring events or anything like that related to that heart attack. He's just following the treatment plan, is getting better. But in August, more than 12 months later, Sam has another heart attack. In this scenario, Sam would get another $10,000 for that subsequent heart attack because it occurred more than 12 months later. So that, just so you know, in the event that it is a subsequent event related to or in the same category as the initial event, as long as it's more than 12 months later, that full benefit would be paid again. So, wanting to talk about an additional benefit that is available for anybody who signs up for the critical illness insurance, regardless of which amount they elect. They also have can receive an additional $100 cash benefit each year for different tests that they could do. These are kind of like preventative tests that there is a cash benefit for. So I've listed on the screen the different types of testing that can be covered for this cash benefit. And this could be, for yourself, for your spouse, and for your child. So in the event that um, any of these things are uh, tests are conducted on yourself or your dependent, then you could submit a claim for $100 cash benefit for those each year. In addition to the health assessment benefit, we also have the health advocate services available to anybody who enrolls in the critical illness. And this is basically an additional counselor or advocate who would work with you for any medical concerns that you may have when it comes to just kind of working through it. So maybe it's understanding your health records or health tests, things like that. They could also assist in trying to help coordinate between different doctors or specialists, getting medical records transferred, scheduling appointments for you, or if you need to negotiate out-of-pocket costs for a particular medical bill, excuse me, your service. And they would do that for any medical service that's more than $400, and you want to negotiate that bill or that cost, they would help you with that as well. So to wrap up, before I move into questions, just want to recap a little bit about what the critical illness covers. So again, it's a cash benefit for you and covered family members in the event that you're diagnosed with a critical illness or event. This is paid in addition to whatever is covered under health insurance. You will also have access to that personal health advocate who can help manage those healthcare services, things like that, as well as the preventative care or health assessment benefits that's available to you as well, that $100 a year. Your critical illness insurance is available to you at group rates through County of San Diego, often, again, less expensive than if you were looking for an individual policy on the open market. And it doesn't cost a whole lot more to add your dependents to your benefits. And it's awfully convenient. There's no waiting period. Payroll deductions are simple. And in the event that your employment at County of San Diego ends, you're able to take your critical insurance with you through the portability option. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions.
Hey, Marianne, it looks like we just have one question. I think this is going back to the test that you were reviewing and perhaps that wellness benefit. But the question
Sure.
is that per test type? I believe it might be referring to that wellness benefit.
Gotcha. Let me go back to this one. So no, it's a total $100 per covered person, not by test type, but per year. And it's just one of these tests would need to be completed in order to receive that $100 cash benefit.
Perfect. Thank you.
You
That
bet.
is the only question we have so far.
Wonderful. I know that was pretty quick. So maybe we could just wait a couple more minutes to see if there are any other questions. And if not, that will conclude this presentation for this round. We will be repeating it in just a few minutes.
Hi, Marianne. This is Nidra from Employee Benefits with the county. I would like to just give a call out to those who are attending the presentation and may be currently enrolled in the critical illness benefit. that if you notice, there is another tier where we offer 40,000 in coverage, and previously that was not available. So we now offer a fourth tier. So just want to share that information.
Thanks for pointing that out, Nidra. All right. Well, if there are no other questions right now, I just hope that you reach out to your team, your HR team or benefits team in the event that new questions pop up after our call. They are, or not after our call, or excuse me, after this presentation. They are really good about following up with me for any questions that come up after we wrap. So if something pops up, please don't hesitate to let us know, and I will be sure to respond as quickly as possible. And with that, thank you so much for your time today. I will be repeating this presentation one more time in just a few minutes. But unless you joined us late, I just want to thank you for your time.
A couple more questions just came in. Regarding the claim submission for that wellness credit, is there a link to Lincoln so we can submit a claim for the test? And then kind of follow-up question to that similar, what documents are needed to file a claim?
Great question. So there is a link. Claims can be submitted telephonically by email or through a link where you would just complete the form and then upload the medical certification of your for your claim. Usually it would just indicate, you know, the diagnosis and the date essentially is what we would be looking for the critical illness. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you are enrolled in our short-term disability here at Lincoln, your benefits would automatically be reviewed for, or your claim, excuse me, would be automatically reviewed. Your short-term disability claim would be automatically reviewed to see if you would qualify for a critical illness benefit as well. And if that's the case, a separate claim would not be required, and both benefits, your STD and your critical illness claim, could be paid upon approval. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Marianne, real quick, this is Nidra again. I copied and pasted the link to the critical illness website into the chat. So from that link, you can access the summary regarding the critical illness benefit, as well as a link to the claim form, as well as for a list of qualified wellness screening options that Marianne has gone over.
Perfect. And then one last question popped up. Do we have to go to a specific facility to get the health assessment test?
Nope, no specific facility is needed.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for your time. I will go ahead and start in 1 minute for anybody who joined late for at the start of our first presentation.
Marianne, before we get started on the next round for the presentation, we had another question that came through the chat.
Oh, great.
Do we qualify to sign up for critical illness if the person has a pre-existing condition?
Oh, that's such a great question. So yes, absolutely, you qualify to enroll. If you have even if you have a pre-existing condition. If you are already enrolled in the current critical illness plan with the current carrier, and you received benefit this year for, let's go back to Sam's example of the heart attack. So let's say Sam received a critical illness benefit in 2023 with the current carrier for a heart attack, and then you enroll in a new benefit with Lincoln or Sam enrolls in the benefit with Lincoln in 2024, has another subsequent heart attack, but it's within those 12 months of the last time. We will be looking back to see if a benefit was paid out already within, due to that initial heart attack in 2023. And if so, then that benefit wouldn't be payable because one was already received within 12 months. But regarding pre-existing conditions, that's the only time that would really come into play. We're not necessarily seeing like if you already had a heart condition before, things like that. But what we are looking at for is like that initial diagnosis. So for example, if you already have a cancer diagnosis, when you enroll, it would not be considered a new diagnosis in 2024. So we were looking for like that new diagnosis unless there's that recovery and then a different diagnosis later. All right. Great questions. Deidre, are we ready to go ahead and get started with the second presentation?
Yes, please. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So again, this is a repeat of the first presentation. If you were here for the whole thing, you're welcome to drop off. Otherwise, we will repeat the presentation again. Hello, everybody. I am Marianne Yong at Lincoln Financial. I am the Senior Account Director assigned to the County of San Diego account, and I have been working with the team there for several years now since our partnership first began in 2020. We are going to be talking today about some new benefits that Lincoln Financial is offering, not new to County of San Diego, but new to having Lincoln Financial as your carrier. They are voluntary benefits, so they are paid through payroll deductions, but they are at that affordable group rate that is not usually available for an individual policy on the open market. So today we are going to talk more about the critical illness insurance for County of San Diego. This is new with Lincoln Financial in 2024. And this is a benefit that's available to employees and can be extended to spouses, domestic partners, and dependent children. So critical illness insurance is a paid out in addition to what's covered under your health insurance. And it's a cash benefit that's paid out to help with health insurance deductibles and copays, childcare, living expenses such as rent, mortgage, groceries, utilities, things like that. So whatever you need that cash benefit for, you can use it. It doesn't need to be a qualified, I'm using air quotes, qualified expense, anything like that. You can use the cash benefit as you need it. The different types of illnesses or conditions or events that are covered through the critical illness insurance include heart attack, stroke, cancer, organ failure, things like that, as well as different types of illnesses, including Alzheimer's, MS. And then there's additional benefits that are included: recovery assistance, occupational diseases, and some accidental injuries. For recovery assistance, this could include the cost of travel or accommodations in the event that you have a family member that like needs to stay at a hotel or something like that, so that they can be nearby while you're in recovery. For occupational diseases, these include things like rabies, tetanus, MRSA infection, and there's one more. Oh, tuberculosis. So if those are considered occupational diseases, if you were to contract one of those diseases while working, you would be eligible to get a 25% of your election amount if you were diagnosed with one of those conditions. And then, although this isn't accident insurance, there are some accidental injuries that are covered by this benefit, and those are injuries that result from accidents that include severe burns, permanent paralysis, or traumatic brain injuries, including coma, and those would all pay at 100%. So let's talk a little bit about what coverage levels you can elect for critical illness. There are 4 coverage levels available to employees. That's 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and 40,000, which is a new coverage amount that are available for employees. And for your spouse or partner, you can elect up to 50% of your amount. So 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, or 20,000. So as an example, if you're an employee who elects $40,000 of critical illness coverage, you can elect 5,000, 10,000, 15, or 20,000 for your spouse or partner. However, if you're an employee who elects only $20,000 benefit for yourself, you could only elect the $5,000 or $10,000 benefit because you cannot exceed 50% of your coverage amount. Similarly, for any child or children that you intend to cover, that child would, or the children would also get 50% of your coverage. Here's an example of how the coverage works. Sam, for example, enrolls in $10,000 of critical illness coverage on January 1st. Later the same year, Sam has a heart attack and is paid out that $10,000 benefit for that's 100% of his $10,000 enrollment. But then Sam has a subsequent heart attack, but it's more than 12 months later on August 3rd of the following year in 2025. So he has a subsequent heart attack, but because it's more than 12 months later, Sam still receives that full $10,000 of benefit. In addition to the cash benefit that's paid out for that critical illness condition, there's also health assessment benefits. And this is really a benefit that could be paid out once a year per participant for preventative action. And that could, or in preventative testing. And that could include mammograms, EKGs, cancer testings, stress tests, hepatitis or HIV testing. So we have a series of different tests or screenings that would be eligible for the $100 per year health assessment benefit. In addition to the cash benefits, we also have additional services with a health advocate. And the health advocate is really there to help you manage kind of your health and medical care. So that could be through additional kind of understanding of what's going on with your different tests, different medical records. They could help you find a doctor, help you work through insurance related issues, help with transferring medical records or scheduling appointments. They could also help explain diagnoses as well as different treatment options, test results, things like that. And they will also help with negotiating your out-of-pocket costs. So this could be negotiating a bill or negotiating an estimate for services. Anytime that the cost is $400 or more, you can enlist the help of your specialist to help negotiate that on your behalf. Again, this is for anybody who enrolls in the critical illness. That health advocate service is available for not only employees, but for the covered family members as well. So just a quick recap before I open it up for questions. Critical illness benefits are a cash benefit for you and your covered family members in the event you're diagnosed with a critical illness or event. This is in addition to your health care benefits or health insurance. You also have access to a personal health advocate to assist you and family members with your medical healthcare services, and the health assessment benefit as well, that $100 a year. It is available at affordable group rates, often much less expensive to those individual policies that you might see in the marketplace. And the benefit just costs a little bit more to add and cover your dependents or spouses or partners. And it's convenient. So there's no waiting period. There's the payroll deductions. So premiums are paid directly from your checks twice a month or twice monthly. You can continue your coverage if you leave through the portability option. So in the event that your employment terminates at the County of San Diego, you would still be able to continue your critical illness benefit or take it with you through the portability option. And as I mentioned before, there are, you can, in the event that you're enrolled in both the critical illness insurance with Lincoln and our voluntary short-term disability benefits, we will review your short-term disability claim to see if a critical illness benefit is payable. And then we would just pay that claim based on the information submitted under your short-term disability claim. So there wouldn't be a need to file two claims in that event when you have both those coverages with us. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
Looks like we had a question come in regarding filing of a claim. The individual is asking, do we need to report the benefit amount received when we file our taxes?
I actually cannot answer any questions about taxes. I encourage you to refer to your tax accountant to help with that question. Typically, however, most benefits that are paid after taxes and from a payroll perspective are not taxable when you receive your benefit. Again, though, I would say that you would probably need to refer to your tax specialist to confirm that.
Great, thank you. Now that's the only question we have in the chat.
Okay. Well, if there are no questions, I'd just like to thank everybody for your time today. As always, please reach out in the event that there are any questions that come up after our presentation ends. I know that your benefits team is very good about reaching out to me if they don't have the answers or if they need additional information from me, and I try to get that turned around and responded to as quickly as possible. But we're very thrilled that the County of San Diego selected Lincoln Financial for the critical illness benefits next year, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you for the wonderful presentation and detailed information. As Marianne mentioned to the audience, the Benefits Division is here if you have questions or concerns. Also, your benefits ambassadors are accessible. And I would like to remind everyone that this presentation was recorded and a copy will be placed on the benefits website. I believe since there are no questions, we can conclude the webinar. So again, thank you everyone for joining us and have a great day.